From September to November 2003, a series of brutal murders rocked Seoul. Chul, the perpetrator, targeted wealthy senior citizens, breaking into their homes and bludgeoning them with a hammer. In an attempt to cover his tracks, he staged the scenes to resemble robbery homicides, but oddly, no money was taken, leaving investigators perplexed. However, as the police closed in on him, Chul shifted his focus to female masseuses. In January 2004, Chul was briefly detained on a minor theft charge but was released after only 2 days. This temporary setback did not deter him. Starting in March 2004, Chul lured prostitutes to his residence, engaging in sexual acts with them before brutally bludgeoning them. To impede identification, he dismembered and mutilated their bodies, concealing them in the mountains surrounding the city. It was in these mountains that the police discovered 11 bodies after Chul's arrest, near Bangwon Temple. During initial interrogations, Chul admitted to the murder of 19 individuals. On July 18, 2004, he added another victim, confessing to the killing of a 44-year-old male street vendor. Several days later, on July 19, 2004, Chul shockingly confessed to a total of 26 murders. However, he provided no additional details regarding these additional victims. Strangely, some of the listed victims did not match his prior pattern of targeting wealthy seniors or masseuses, suggesting the possibility of unreported victims. While the infamous Rainy Thursday murderer was active around the same time, stabbing women late at night in southwest Seoul, the police were unable to establish a connection between Chul and those particular crimes. A few days later, Chul admitted to another killing, the murder of a young woman working at a clothing store on February 6, 2004, in Imandong. He had approached her under the guise of a police officer and suspected her of being a prostitute. Approximately a month after his arrest, Chul made a disturbing confession. He claimed to have consumed the flesh of his victims. However, no concrete evidence was available to corroborate this shocking revelation. The reign of terror brought about by Chul had left a dark stain on Seoul. The city was left grappling with the horror and brutality of the crimes committed by one individual. The police continued their efforts to bring justice to the victims and their families, hoping to shed light on any unanswered questions and provide closure to the heartbroken community. Chul, the perpetrator of the heinous crimes, had a personal history marked by significant details. In 1992, Chul got married and became a father to a son. However, his life took a dark turn as he accumulated a troubling criminal record before his murderous spree. Prior to his string of murders, Chul had already faced the consequences of his actions numerous times. He had been convicted on 14 different occasions for various charges, and these convictions resulted in a cumulative prison sentence of 7 years. The specifics of his prior offenses were not provided, but they shed light on Chul's troubled past and his gradual descent into becoming a serial killer. Arrest for murder. On July 15, 2004, Chul's reign of terror came to a halt when he was apprehended by the authorities. Prior to his capture, Chul had confessed to the heinous murders of as many as 19 people, primarily targeting affluent senior citizens and masseuses. His crimes had caused alarm and fear throughout the city of Seoul. The circumstances of Chul's arrest were somewhat unusual. Suspicion had been raised when he made calls to a massage parlor where several employees had recently gone missing under similar circumstances. In response, the owner of the massage parlor, accompanied by several employees and a police officer, arranged a meeting with Chul. However, the police officer left the scene before Chul arrived. As Chul entered the meeting place, he was confronted by the vigilant employees of the massage parlor. Realizing his capture was imminent, Chul attempted to resist but was quickly overpowered. With the help of the employees, Chul was detained and handcuffed by another police officer. However, Chul's cunning did not end there. While in custody, he feigned epileptic symptoms, hoping to create an opportunity for escape. Taking advantage of the moment when his restraints were loosened, Yu managed to flee from the police. His freedom was short-lived, though, as he was recaptured just 12 hours later. It is worth noting that Yu had a history of attempting to escape custody. In a previous arrest in 2002, he had similarly feigned an epileptic seizure in an effort to evade capture. This pattern of deception and manipulation highlighted the lengths to which Yu would go to avoid facing justice. In the aftermath of his arrest, emotions ran high. The mother of one of Yu's victims, overcome with grief and anger, confronted him at the prosecutor's office. Desperate for answers and seeking justice for her daughter, she confronted Yu with an umbrella in a fit of anguish. In an attempt to subdue her, a police officer used force, kicking the mother in the chest, as he struggled to control the situation. The incident served as a poignant reminder of the pain and loss suffered by the victims' families, as well as the frustration directed towards law enforcement for not apprehending Yu earlier. It underscored the profound impact that Yu's crimes had on the community and the urgent need for justice to be served. Yu Young-chul's story remains a chilling chapter in South Korea's history, serving as a stark reminder of the darkness that can reside within individuals and the devastating consequences of their actions. Trial and penalty. Despite the lack of substantial physical evidence linking Yu Young-chul to the murders, the case proceeded to court. On September 6, 2004, Yu made a defiant entrance, refusing to defend himself and declaring his intention to boycott the rest of the trial. He offered apologies to the victims but brazenly boasted that he had no intentions of stopping his actions. 2 weeks later, during a subsequent court appearance, Yu lunged at the judges presiding over the case and recanted his confession for the Imandong murder in February 2004. His erratic behavior continued when he failed to appear at the next court session on October 4, 2004, after attempting suicide the night before. Yu's disruptive behavior persisted, as he once again caused a commotion during a hearing 3 weeks later, attempting to attack a spectator who had cursed him. Eventually, he was compelled to sign a statement agreeing not to cause further disruptions. On December 13, 2004, Yu was sentenced to death for 20 counts of murder. However, the count of murder for the woman in Imandong in February 2004 was dismissed. Prosecutors appealed the verdict in an attempt to secure the 21st count of murder, but the Supreme Court upheld the lower court's decision on June 8, 2005. Yu's case shocked and appalled the people of South Korea, reigniting the ongoing debate on capital punishment within the country. While the death penalty remains a legal option, it had not been carried out since 1997. Prior to Yu's arrest, there were discussions about the potential abolition of capital punishment. However, the revelations surrounding Yu's horrific crimes resulted in a surge of support for the death penalty among the public. Yu Young-chul's case served as a sobering reminder of the depths of human depravity and the impact it has on society. The debate on capital punishment continues to be influenced by the magnitude of his crimes and the profound shock they caused throughout South Korea. The Seoul Central District Court said, "Murders of as many as 20 people are unprecedented in the nation and a very serious crime. The death penalty is inevitable for you in light of the enormous pains inflicted on the families concerned and the entire society." Yu is currently detained at the Seoul Detention Center.